Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win in the Saturday Night Racing League Cup Series. What a finish!
It's too little, too late from behind, and Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
I knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa. Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to another wonderful round with West Coast Sim Racing. To one of the most legendary circuits in all of motorsports, the iconic Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, as West Coast Sim Racing brings you Porsche Cup action presented by V-Speed. Today's race is brought to you by VehicleBuyers.com. Shout out to VehicleBuyers.com. If you're in the need for buying vehicles, head over to there. This is round 4 of the 12-round championship. We have iconic rounds such as Sebring, Monza, Portimao, and Road Atlanta coming up in just a few weeks' time. Over to the points, it's Nathaniel Redmond leading with 151 in front of Brennan Myers. In second place, Edwin Onofre. In third, Josh Hunter, Zach Sevier, Sergio Restes, Joe Rainey, Mitchell Odell, Slater Colby, Lewis Holloway, Brandon Birch, George Lawrence, Alexei Andreu, Mitch Crother, Andreas Profina, Carty Cunningham, Derek Johnson, Igor Rizhov, and Dylan Lee and Dane Perkins round out the top 20. That brings us to where are we racing tonight, folks? Well, it's going to be the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps with a track length of 4.35 miles or 7 kilometers. Founded in 1921, it's been the current layout from 2022 or 2024. Located in Francorchamps, Belgium, we have 19 corners, 9 to the right, 10 to the left, or 330 feet of elevation change and a 3/4 mile long straightaway. I'm your host, Sagar Bakshi, on behalf of V-Speed. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you very much for tuning in. It's a pleasure to be with you as always for such an iconic championship here with the West Coast Sim Racing family. Heading over to the last few minutes of qualifying, let's check out Edwin Onofre right now as he tops the charts in the qualifying session. A 2:16.889 is going to be the pole position time with Colby behind. That'll be Nico in the 16, not too far back. Zach Severe there in third. Brennan Myers, Josh Hunter, Alexei Andreu, Lewis Holloway, Connor T. Cunningham, Dylan Lee, Warren Johnson, Joe Rainey, Colton Juarez, and Andreas Profino rounding out the 13 participants tonight. LM Pulse Effect, thank you very much for being here in the chat as well. Really appreciate all the love and support from the West Coast Sim Racing family. Looks like Edwin Onofre is going to be the driver to park it on track. On board on the exit of Malmedy down to Bruxelles. And to the iconic Speaker's Corner, or No Name, as the drivers call it. And then down through Pouan. The drivers carefully balance the car's mechanical grip on the nose, mounting the curbs a little bit there, is the 714 of Zach Severe. He's definitely out here trying to push on this final lap in. 1:45 remaining on the clock. He might be able to get this one plus one more if he's quick about it. Coming to campus, now Stavlot on the exit will be Corpe Paul Ferrer. Before we get to Blanchimont, the fast, brutal left-hander, and a little bit of a confidence lift there for Severe. And the hard braking zone into the final chicane. It's a very long lap here, and the drivers are going to be challenged for every single inch of tarmac that they're trying to tread. Severe running in third. Is it any better? 2:18.119 that last time around won't do any better on that run. Alexei Andreu driving the number 19 in sixth place is gonna nearly lose it. Well, he did lose it, but he got into the wall at the very least. This is going to be Josh Hunter running in P5 for the number 81. Well, if we have a banana boat, well, we definitely have an orange boat out there too. That best time that was set, that 2:16.889, has not been beat yet. But Nico Colby still out there on track, trying to hunt down that pole position time. But we'll know that here at Spa, the slipstream battles are gonna be hectic and crazy. So the drivers really won't have to worry too much about their qualifying position. They really have to worry about keeping it clean coming down the Kemmel Straight and into Lacombe's for the first time. Nico Colby is up around 3/10, but the little kick up of the kitty litter hurt him by nearly 2/10. Now the run down to Pouan looks pretty healthy for the number 16 Apex Motor Club driver. And following that will be Piff Paff. Oh, and that will conclude the session as Colby drives off into the sunset. What do we have in store, folks? Well, it's going to be a 45-minute race with a pit speed road limit of 50 miles an hour, but hopefully the drivers don't make a trip down pit road. Unlimited tire sets available. We do have the competition caution coming out. 100% race fuel, iRacing open setups are available for the drivers. If you need one, just give someone a shout in the Discord, and they're glad to help you out. This is round 4 at Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. We do have the 45-minute race, round 4 of 12 coming at you, and we're not even at the halfway point yet, and the championship is already spicing up. Taking a look at the grid, it's Onofre and Colby lining P1 and 2, Zach Sevier and Brennan Myers in the second row, Josh Hunter and Alexe Andreu in the third, fourth are Lewis Holloway and Connor T. Cunningham. Then it'll be Dylan Lee and Warren Johnson. Following that, Joe Rainey and Colton Juarez, and last but not least, Andreas Profina, driving the number 95. Now, with all the drivers officially gridded up, we're ready to go rumble, folks, here at the greatest circuit in Europe, Spa-Francorchamps. Now, predictions. Let me hear in the YouTube chat who you think is going to come across the line in P1 at the end of the 45-minute bout. Because we're bound to have some wheel-to-wheel action. We're bound to have at least one accident come out. These drivers are well equipped to go wheel to wheel without having too many mistakes. But I will throw out there being potentially one caution tonight. And look at that number 23. That's Brennan Myers further back there in that Max Verstappen Racing Team Redline machine. That's a good looking livery. Love to see it. Safety cars in. Now it's time to go green flag running here at Spa with West Coast Sim Racing, and it's green, green, green. And 714 made a brief look, but quickly recounted that decision and fell back in single file line. It's looking good. It's looking clean through the source of turn 1, and it is going to be green and clean coming down into Eau Rouge. As the drivers cross over the Red River, up the hill through Radion, it will be the 16 with the power drive up the hill, and will get alongside Edwin Onofre. Back there, the 714 also looking to jostle for position. Now Zach Sevier actually tumbling down the order as the 16 goes through on the 199 of Onofre. Nico Colby leads us down into no name for the very first time tonight, folks. And Alexe trying to find a way by. Has Rainey up ahead, but has Profina behind, causing some disturbance to his charge. And up ahead, we have Connor T. Cunningham, Zach Severe, and the 502 tries to get a switchback overlaid, but it's the 24 ahead that has a mistake all on his own and tumbles down the order. Battle for the lead here coming through Corbin Paul Ferrer. It will be Onofre to the outside line and Colby to the defensive inside line through Blanchimont is not where you want to go wheel to wheel, but the drivers are going to make it happen, and the 199 backs out swiftly. Looking further back, Brennan Myers chasing down Josh Hunter in his battle for the podium tonight. Cheers for Lewis Holloway tonight in the chat from LM Pulse Effect. And cheers for Dylan from Archbishop as well. Lewis Holloway and the camber and cast machine needs to be careful as Zach Severe on this recovery drive right now. Looking pretty good. The 714 Iron Dave's machine goes to the inside line on the number 93 camber and caster tuned machine, and it's going to be fully alongside at Malmedy as well. The 713 has the exit speed there. Down to Brussels, it will be single file line. Checking in with the leaders as well, it's Colby Onofre, Hunter, and Brennan Myers in P4. Checking in with that 502 machine. Now, right behind the rear wing of Holloway, up ahead of him. And 17 of Joe Rainey also in this battle pack. Josh Hunter closes down the gap on Edwin Onofre by at least 0.2 of a second. And now it's getting spicy and dicey for the lead of this event. There goes the 17, a look to the inside line here before we get down to Blanchimont. And the 17 of Joe Rainey is through on Connor Cunningham. Up ahead here, Zach Severe defends from Dylan Lee, driving the number 2. Lewis Holloway trying to mount an attack, simultaneously defending from Joe Rainey, who's now in a prime attacking position. 17 all over the rear end of Holloway in that number 93. Backs off coming up the hill. A lot of slipstream being used here for the 199, allows him to close down the gap on that number 16 of Colby out in front. And Lewis Holloway tumbles down the order. Let's see if we can get a replay of what happened here to Lewis. Oh, and he runs into the rear end of the number 2, simultaneously locking up the brakes, and that will do it there. Colby Onofre still glued at the hip. A little bit of pocket sand being thrown up to the cars behind, but Onofre definitely has the overspeed here, running down in towards Blanchimont. It's gonna be nose to tail at maximum speed. And it looks like Brennan Myers has got around Josh Hunter. He's about to be in this battle for the lead as well. A little bit too deep for the number 16 of Nico Colby, but doesn't compromise his run through La Source. Onofre checking his mirrors now because Brennan Myers is menacing. Driving the Red Bull colors of Max Verstappen, you never know what to expect. And Edwin Onofre gets a slowdown penalty coming up, Arouge and Radion. And that will give the lead over to Brennan Myers for P2. Connor T. Cunningham exchanging blows with Alexei Andreu and Andreas Profina in tow, with Colton Juarez lurking in the wings, trying to pounce at the next available opportunity. Good flow and pace from Alexei. One, excuse me, 2:19.7 is his best lap. Last time around was set, so expect to see Andreu shake and bake for some positions. Here's Onofre getting through on Brennan Myers, and Myers into the wall. What happened here? Everything's okay coming through Stavlot now. Through campus. He just pulls over. Alexei Andreu, Connor T. Cunningham, and Colton Juarez being the closest trio on track. Alexei was able to get around Connor T. Cunningham. And now Brennan Myers on his recovery drive, seemingly got that car repaired and is back on track, has Andreas Profina up ahead. To the inside line here at Brussels, it will be good on it for Brennan Myers. On board with Cunningham, coming through Piff Paff, in through campus, and then Stavlot. Battle for the lead has stayed stagnant. Nico Colby leads by 1.2 seconds currently. Andreu chasing down Joe Rainey has a 1 second gap ahead. Cunningham only 0.8 back from Andreu up ahead. Andreu closes down on Rainey from Rainey Homes, who's now definitely under threat. But will there be banana on banana crimes tonight? 17 and the 19 are going to go wheel to wheel. Andreu uses all of the curbing at the entrance to Lacombe's. And he backs out just a little bit now to give a margin for Rainey to breathe. Edwin Onofre closes down his gap here on the lead battle at 7/10 and closing every single corner. Onofre charging and chasing Nico Colby now. Into the final chicane. It's going to be nose to tail between Colby and Onofre. In towards La Source. The drivers make quick work of the corner before they plummet downhill into the Red River, through Radion, and down the Kemmel Strait. And Onofre backs off a huge deal here. I haven't seen the competition caution being called yet. Perhaps he's looking at conserving a little bit of fuel. Important to note that we do have Josh Hunter back up into P3. And Joe Rainey now behind Alexe Andreu. But the battle's not done between the 19 and the 17, as we saw them express that they have pretty similar pace. 2:19.87 compared to a 2:19.7 from Joe Rainey. Last laps around though, 2:20 and 2:20.3, so nearly identical lap times. Brennan Myers and Lewis Holloway back together on the racetrack. 23 leads the 93. But that might only be a momentary thing as Holloway pushes hard coming out of Stavlot and grabs a little bit of the gravel, which definitely impede his run into Blanchimont. 23 going a little bit wide at Blanchimont there. They've exceeded track limits. Might get a slowdown penalty, allowing Holloway to catch back up. We have some very important people in this championship not here tonight, such as our championship leader. Rainey still close to the rear wing of Onofre. With Nathaniel Redmond not being here tonight to collect any points, Brennan Myers down in the wings, down in 9th position, will only get a good couple of points. That gives Edwin Onofre a chance to get into the lead tonight. "26 minutes and 40 seconds remaining on the clock, folks. Take a look at the positions gained and lost there on the tower. Biggest charger tonight will be Joe Rainey with 5 positions gained in the number 17. Hopefully he can make that momentum last into the second stint. Colton Juarez finds himself in the Brendan Myers Lewis Holloway sandwich. And Onofre closes his margin down on Nico Colby. Last lap around was about 3/10 quicker than Colby was. And this is looking to be a net positive lap for him as well. Now Holloway looks to the rear wing of Juarez out in front. Tries to find a way by synchronized moving over to the racing line. Now Holloway tries to find a daylight here at Pouan, but he can't really challenge unless Juarez is complicit, to which he is not. And now Holloway is challenged yet again, this time to the inside line, down into Piff Paff. And there it is. The competition caution comes out to neutralize the field. And the drivers in the lead will get picked up by that beautiful Porsche safety car. And we'll restack them, re-rack them, and be back in just a few minutes after this commercial break. Be right back.
trade for bananas?
Bananas? No thanks. Are you tired of lowball offers and no shows? Here at vehiclebuyers.com, we make it fast and easy to sell your vehicle. Enter your vehicle information into our website and receive an offer for your vehicle. Our competitive offers ensure that you get the best deal possible. If you're ready to sell your vehicle, click the link below.
Vehiclebuyers.com. Visit us today. Having trouble outfoxing the deals and the competition getting you all flustered? Time to be sly and visit overstockvehicles.com. We have over 600 vehicles available for sale monthly, all at dealer pricing. Overstockvehicles.com. Visit us today.
Sebastian Marin, your first repeat top split winner of the qualifying series.
We knew it was just a matter of time. Hunter Sr. is victorious.
Josh Adams taking the win at Iowa. Juicy Spider Motorsports takes home the 1-2-3 finish.
Looks like we will get one more lap behind the safety car. Just got to give a big shout out to everybody watching in the YouTube chat, whether you're here live or in the future. Really appreciate all the love and support that you're giving to West Coast Sim Racing. If you're interested in getting involved in West Coast Sim Racing's league, well, why don't you check them out on iRacing? Racing every Monday and Thursday nights. Sessions opening at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Great time had by all. Let's take a look at those positions gained again and recognize some of the hard chargers through the field. It'll be Joe Rainey, who's up 5, Colton Juarez up 3, Porfina up 2. Down a few for Brendan Myers, Lewis Holloway, Dylan Lee, Warren Johnson. But chances are still on the table. As I said, we restack them, re-rack and get back to the gridding format yet again. Apologies about that. Now, Colby and Onofre definitely going to be the drivers to keep our eyes on when the flag goes green. Onofre definitely has the pace, does he have the consistency to stay ahead of Nico Colby? Onofre actually sits with the fastest lap of the race, a 2:17.2 currently. About 7/10 faster than Nico Colby's 2:17.9. Now the drivers all gridded up 2 by 2. Coming through Corbett, Paul Ferrer, and now into Blanchimont. Settling in are the drivers now to just 15 minutes left of racing. When the safety car pulls in, the field will belong to Nico Colby to control until the green flag falls. Drivers are not allowed to move out of line or gain position until they have crossed the start-finish line. Onofre squared away with Colby to the outside line. Into La Source. It's going to be side by side. Onofre goes really wide. There's a big send from the 714 of Zach Severe, who's going to go through to P2. But now who's the run belong to? The 199, the 16, the 714? It could be anybody. 714 carries a lot of speed, but not as much as the 16 of Nico Colby, who went way too wide coming up the hill, and that's surely going to be a slowdown for him. 714 and the 199 get through, but a lockup from Onofre will cause him to go around and give the lead back over to Zach Severe. Brendan Myers with a lick of the stamp and a send, but a lockup for him will send him round, and the 23 will get it stopped, locked and dropped at Bruxelles. Profina closing down on Colton Juarez. Is there to the inside line. Scared Profina. Colton Juarez tries to snap back immediately. Gives a little bump in the rear end. There's the 2 in the background of Dylan Lee going off track. And he's kicking up kitty litter everywhere. 98 leading this 6-car train on this race restart here at Spa-Francorchamps. Oh, a little further back, Colton Juarez and Lewis Holloway exchanged a little paint coming into the bus stop. Now Brennan Myers has Connor T. Cunningham to worry about driving the 502. Can Cunningham get into a little bit deeper, at least the top 10? He's already got 10 under lock, and I think that was Dylan Lee going into the Shadow Realm behind. I think he was thoroughly done with this race a while ago, unfortunately. Brennan Myers still on his recovery drive for the evening. He might be my driver of the day. Fell back to nearly P last, not once, but twice. And now charging through the field yet again. Joe Rainey as well with his hard charge, still battling with Aliexe, is going to go through at double gauche. At Pouon's entry, there was a big commitment moment, and Aliexe Andreu definitely did not want to go side by side at one of the fastest parts of the circuit. Andreas Profina and Brennan Myers in tow. Myers is a very rapid driver and should make quick work of Profina here momentarily. A good exit onto Corpe Paul Ferrer. And into Blanchimont, a single file line. Nico Colby, 1.1 seconds back from Zach Severe. Battle for the lead of the race, still undecided. Lewis Holloway chasing down Colton Juarez. The number 93 Camber and Caster machine has a fast lap of a 220.9. Gotten last time around, but his best lap across the stint will be a 218.5. So can definitely execute an overtake on Colton Juarez when the opportunity can present itself. And problems that solve themselves. Lewis Holloway gets through on Colton Juarez. Distracted there for just a moment as I thought I saw Nico Colby momentarily in the lead of the race on the timing tower. Must have been seeing things, as so is Nico Colby, as that's not the racing line, as he is driving with his heart on his sleeve, trying to get back into the lead in front of Zach Severe, back to controlling it. 8 minutes, 50 seconds remaining. That means when the drivers cross the line, it should only be 3 laps remaining. Brennan Myers trying to make work on Aliexe Andreu. And the number 19 hard stopping on the brakes there into the bus stop chicane. And he'll have that one well executed. The number 23 of Brendan Myers through on Aliexe Andreu. Edwin Onofre, who tumbled and falled earlier on in the race. 199 definitely has a long way to climb back to the top if he wants to rock and roll. Oh no, what happened to Joe Rainey? Nothing, he's okay. Everything is fine. Joe Rainey still battling with Alexa. Has a half-second margin back. I was worried. I saw it flashing on my live timing screen. Usually anytime a color is flashing, it's never anything good, but this might have been to the benefit of Rainey because now he's closing down the gap on Andreu ahead. This could be great for Rainey tonight and potentially one of his best finishes of the season. Onofre in the 199 has Lewis Holloway in the number 93 up ahead. Driving the blue pig. Will this be an easy overtake for the 199? Under braking, going down into the bus stop. Not here, not now, says Lewis Holloway. $219.4 to $218.3 that last time around. So it's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. Even at a wide track like Spa-Francorchamps, you have to wait for mistakes just like that from Holloway to get alongside and challenge for position. But even then, sometimes that's not enough. Whoa, and two-wheeling up in the air goes the 93 of Lewis Holloway. And that'll definitely give him a slowdown penalty, and the 199 passes right on by. Next up is going to be Andreas Profina up on the chopping block in 7th place for Edwin Onofre to get by. With 5 minutes remaining, how many positions can he get? At least this one, he says, as he makes the move down into Brussels. And that will be successful and make that one look easy. Take a bow, Edwin Onofre. Checking in here is Josh Hunter, who's actually caught up to the rear end of Nico Colby. A 7/10 margin is definitely something you can deal with going into the final laps. And just as I say that, Nico Colby is there with his 8/10 gap to the 714. With 2 to go, folks, it's anyone's guess at who's going to cross the finish line in the lead. Last lap times nearly identical, 2:18.6, 2:18.0 from Nico. The 714 defends hard to the inside line, coming down the Kemmel Straight, but holds on to that inside line. And the 16 tries to decide which way to go. Crisscross applesauce decides on the racing line, and a little bit of kitty litter kicked up. I think Nico Colby is driving with his heart on his sleeve right now. battle for the lead here in the final closing moments with West Coast Sim Racing, presented by V-Speed. Two minutes and 15 seconds. That means we'll just get this lap plus one more. That's confirmed. Edwin Onofre trying to get by Lewis Holloway again, and Profina, as he must have made a mistake to lose that lead. A little bit of egregious use of track limits there by Nico Colby, trying to get as much speed as he could through Blanchimont. But if it's all fair with the stewards, it's all fair on the racetrack. We bought and paid for as much of the racetrack to use. The drivers are going to consume as much of it as possible. The 713 is a little bit too deep at La Source and misses the apex by a mile. And now the 16 is all over the rear wing of that pink Porsche. Iron Dane's machine is definitely under threat from Nico Colby coming down the Kemmel Straight into Lacombe's. This is gonna be the battle for the lead. The 16 and the 714 wheel to wheel, but the 16 is super cautious with his attack, doesn't want to get it with contact, and relinquishes the position back over to Zach Severe for just a moment. Now, can Nico Colby do anything here behind Zach Severe? Zach is driving like a bat out of hell right now, trying to keep it on the tarmac. Nico Colby half a second back, but that gap is closing every little corner. It's too far back to make a lunge. Surely it can't be. And it is gonna be Zach Severe in the lead of the race, crossing the line when it mattered most, taking the win for the 714. Nico Colby in second, Josh Hunter in third, Brendan Myers crosses the line in fourth, with Joe Rainey rounding out your top five. Alexe Andreu crosses the line in front of Edwin Onofre, Andreas Profina, Lewis Holloway, Connor T. Cunningham, then Colton Juarez, and Warren Johnson and Dylan Lee will round it out for us tonight. There was for Severe, who started in third, ended up on top with Colby, ending up where he started in the race in second. Hunter in third, Myers in fourth, Rainey in fifth, Andreu in sixth, Onofre in seventh, Profina in eighth, Lewis Holloway in ninth, with Connor T. Cunningham rounding out your top 10. Into 11th was Colton Juarez, Warren Johnson, and Dylan Lee in 13th. And we're just standing by, getting ready for drivers to come by for their interviews, folks. What a great race we had tonight, folks. Let's head on over to the interview room and get to talking to our race winner. First, let's go ahead and talk to Zach Severe, who didn't start the race on pole position, but led us on the last lap when it mattered most. Zach, do you have a copy? Hello, my friend. Now, what a wonderful race you ended up having, but what a challenge at the same time. Talk us through some of your key points throughout your race.
Well, I started in P3. I was pretty happy with my qualifying. Um, but I got to slow down on lap one, which didn't help my chances. So I fell back. But maybe that was actually a blessing in disguise because it allowed me to spend a lot of the race just kind of keeping my tires like really, really calm and not pushing them too much, which meant by the end of the race, I just had a lot more tires. I'm normally not that good at that. So that was a good feeling. I was just sort of not trying to push too hard up until the caution and just keep the tires alive. And then at the caution, I was just able to keep my temperature up by just constantly weaving. And so by the time it went green, I just had the pace. And Nico by the end was faster, but I just managed to hang on.
That was a hard charge for sure. Coming from the back of the pack, now that you said it, you reminded me that, yeah, you had pulled over coming down the Kemmel Straight and pretty much was outside the top 10. You know, talk us through getting some of these overtakes made. Was it just waiting for mistakes to happen, or were you truly faster in some of those corners?
As I touched upon, I'm not the fastest one here, but I think I'm able to place my car pretty decently, and I also got lucky. I think a couple people spun and had some crashes. So overall, I just think keeping a cool head and just trying not to push too hard, don't go off the track was just better than being, all out the fastest.
Great keys to the race, Zach Severe. Is there anybody you want to shout out or anybody you'd like to thank on the evening?
I'll thank you. You're a new broadcaster. I really been enjoying the new broadcast, so thank you.
Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate you, Zach Severe. Have a great night, and as always, stay safe out there, brother.
You too.
Head over to Nico Colby next. Started in second, led us for 11 laps, and really controlled the field in the first stint. Nico, talk to us about your race a little bit.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun race. Just first stint kind of pushed it a little bit too much on tires. And the second stint, I just think tires were too worn out. Just Zach had pace, and he was just quicker in most spots. And then, yeah, it was just a fun race overall.
Definitely small grid, but fun racing from green to checkered flag. The pack stayed tight and the battling was pretty much all there. Any big highlights or any big takeaways? Maybe something that you learned about the Porsche Cup?
Yeah, just the thing I learned most tonight, especially at Spa, is just the trail braking is huge. If you don't trail brake, you're just basically done.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that word of wisdom, Nico Colby. Really appreciate it. And anybody like to shout out or anybody like to thank on the evening?
You, of course, for the broadcast. Shout out Warren for the league. Just shout out Edwin. Shout out Josh and Zach just for putting on a good race, clean race. And yeah, that's about it.
Right on. Thank you very much, Nico Colby. Have a great night. And as always, stay safe out there.
Thank you, you too.
And last but not least, it'll be Josh Hunter, who had a quiet but deadly race, driving the orange, we'll call it the cutie, number 81 to third place tonight. Josh Hunter, do you have a copy?
Yeah, man, what's going on?
Not much. What a nice race you had, but it kind of slinkied back and forth for you at times, didn't it?
A little bit. Just caught up in a slowdown in the second half of the race, so that kind of brought a gap against P1 and P2, but overall, it was a good fun race.
A great race, and you pulled out some pretty good laps as well. Your overall consistency was there. You were able to drive into the 217s. What did it take to get you to drive the wheels off this Porsche with the minimal eights?
Just braking and trying not to push it where I shouldn't push it, and yeah, I just lost a lot of time on the restart just because I wasn't really confident in the cold tires. So I was a little more careful than I should have been, but still got P3, so I'm happy with that.
Copy that. Well, good luck to you in the championship. Anybody you'd like to shout out or anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
You for the broadcast, Warren for the league, and everyone else that races with us and makes it a good race to race in.
Thank you very much, Josh Hunter. Really appreciate that. Have a great night and stay safe, my friend.
Thank you too.
I think that is something to definitely highlight, is that without the drivers in this league, it wouldn't be possible for us to do what we do. So big kudos, big hats off to all the drivers for showing up week after week, for putting on a wonderful show, and big thanks to the big dog himself, Warren Johnson, the War Dog. And speaking of which, I believe we have the War Dog himself joining us now.
The War Dog. Haven't been called that in a while. How we doing, man?
I'm doing all right, Warren. How about yourself, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing good. That was a tough race, but you know that track is. I've never been good at that track, and
Yeah.
frankly, I've never been good at this car. So it's just a recipe for disaster. But I had fun. It wasn't like a frustrating bad race. I just kind of expected it. So I was just like, whatever happens, happens. I was racing with a few people. Honestly, I was saying to the guys in the chat, like, when I passed people, I felt very uncomfortable because I'm just like, I'm just gonna slow them down and I'm gonna cause some incidents. So I'm good on that. But no, it was a good race. It was fine. Once Dylan left, that just solidified 12th place or whatever I got. So I hopped out also because there was no way I was making up like 25 seconds.
Yeah, understood there, Warren. Any big announcements or any big shout outs for the league?
Announcements? No, I know there's a little light today on participation. I think there was a bunch of people practicing for the Sebring special
That's
event.
true.
And then there's a couple other things. Life happens, so I don't blame them for skipping Spa. It's not my favorite track either. But no, it was this was fine. Just thanking the drivers for who come in, week out. You for broadcasting, of course. All my guys, all the fans who watch, and yeah, I think that's it.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Warren Johnson. Really appreciate you, all the hard work you do behind the scenes to keep us running from green to checkered flag without any hiccups, brother. So thank you so much for all the hard work, and to all the admins here at West Coast Sim Racing.
Absolutely, and thank you. And I see you putting in the work week in and week out, and it's just better and better every week. So
Thanks,
you for
Warren.
that.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Well, with that, folks, it's time to close things out. As all good things have to come to an end, so shall this. Thank you very much to VehicleBuyers.com, tonight's sponsor of this race. This has been a V-Speed production. I have been Sagar Bakshi on the mic and producing for you here from Francorchamps, Belgium. It's been a pleasure to take you from green to checkered flag. Have a great night, and as always, make sure you stay safe out there. Bye-bye for now.